There's a moment almost every computer user experiences sooner or later. You press the power button on an aging laptop, wait for the operating system to load, and then wait some more. Applications take forever to open. The fan spins loudly, even when you are doing almost nothing. And every update somehow makes the machine feel slower than before. Many people assume the hardware is simply too old to be useful anymore. They think the only solution is to buy a new computer. But then they discover Linux, and more specifically, they discover Xubuntu, a lightweight operating system that proves old computers do not have to become electronic waste just because modern software has grown bloated and demanding. Xubuntu is one of the official flavors of Ubuntu. And while Ubuntu itself is already known for being beginner-friendly and reliable, Xubuntu takes a different approach. Instead of focusing on flashy visual effects or heavy desktop features, it focuses on speed, efficiency, simplicity, and practicality. It is designed for people who want a fast and stable operating system that works smoothly on both older hardware and modern machines, without unnecessary overhead. The result is an operating system that feels refreshingly responsive, even on computers that struggle to run modern versions of Windows. To understand why Xubuntu matters, it helps to understand the problem it solves. Over the years, mainstream operating systems have become heavier and more resource-hungry. Modern desktops are packed with animations, background services, telemetry systems, cloud integrations, AI assistants, and countless features most users never even touch. While newer computers can handle this without much trouble, older machines suffer badly. A laptop that was considered powerful 10 years ago may now crawl under the weight of modern software. Yet the hardware itself is often still perfectly capable for web browsing, office work, video playback, coding, or studying. The issue is not always the hardware. The issue is software efficiency. This is where Xubuntu enters the picture. Instead of demanding massive amounts of RAM and CPU power, it keeps resource usage low while still providing a modern desktop experience. The magic behind this comes from the XFCE desktop environment, which is the heart of Xubuntu. XFCE has a reputation in the Linux world for being lightweight but functional. It does not try to imitate flashy modern interfaces filled with heavy animations. Instead, it focuses on delivering a clean and efficient workspace that gets out of the user's way. When you first boot into Xubuntu, one of the first things you notice is how familiar it feels. Unlike some Linux distributions that experiment with unusual desktop concepts, Xubuntu keeps things traditional. You have a panel, an application menu, system icons, a taskbar, and a desktop area. Anyone coming from Windows will instantly understand the layout. This familiarity is important because many people exploring Linux for the first time are already nervous about leaving their old operating system behind. Xubuntu reduces that learning curve significantly, but simplicity does not mean outdated. Xubuntu still looks modern and polished. The interface is clean, organized, and surprisingly elegant. The developers have carefully balanced visual appeal with performance efficiency. The desktop feels responsive because it avoids unnecessary graphical effects that consume resources. Applications launch quickly, Windows moves smoothly, and the entire system feels snappy even on modest hardware. One of the biggest reasons people choose Xubuntu is performance on older PCs. Computers with only 2 or 4 gigabytes of RAM can often run Xubuntu comfortably. Systems that struggle with Windows 11 suddenly become usable again. This has made Xubuntu especially popular among students, budget users, schools, repair technicians, and Linux enthusiasts who enjoy reviving old hardware. Instead of throwing away a perfectly functional laptop, users can install Xubuntu and give it several more years of life. What makes this even more impressive is that Xubuntu is not only for old computers. Many users with powerful modern hardware also choose it because they simply prefer a lightweight operating system. Even on high-end systems, a lighter OS means faster boot times, lower background resource usage, cooler temperatures, and longer battery life. Some people are tired of operating systems that constantly run dozens of background processes for features they never asked for. Xubuntu feels refreshing because it focuses on the essentials. Battery life is another area where Xubuntu often surprises users. Because the system consumes fewer resources, laptops can sometimes run cooler and more efficiently compared to heavier operating systems. Less CPU activity means less power consumption, while results vary depending on hardware and usage. Many users report noticeable improvements after switching from Windows to Xubuntu, especially on older laptops, where every bit of efficiency matters. The installation process is also one of Xubuntu's strongest features. Linux used to have a reputation for being difficult to install, but modern Ubuntu-based systems have changed that completely. Installing Xubuntu is straightforward even for beginners. You download the ISO file, create a bootable USB drive, and follow a guided installation wizard. The installer walks users through language selection, disk partitioning, account setup, and updates. In many cases, The process is no more difficult than installing Windows. Another reason Xubuntu is so beginner-friendly is its connection to Ubuntu. Since it is an official Ubuntu flavor, it benefits from Ubuntu's massive software repositories, hardware compatibility, security updates, and community support. This means users get access to thousands of applications through easy package management tools. Whether you need a web browser, Office suite, media player, coding tools, or creative software, chances are it is available with just a few clicks. The software ecosystem on Xubuntu is one of its greatest strengths. Many lightweight operating systems achieve speed by sacrificing functionality, but Xubuntu avoids that trap. It includes practical applications out of the box without overwhelming the user. You typically get Firefox for browsing, LibreOffice for productivity, media players for music and video, and essential utilities for file management and system settings. Everything feels balanced. The system is usable immediately after installation without unnecessary clutter. Customization is another area where Xubuntu shines. XFCE is highly configurable without being overly complicated. Users can move panels, change themes, adjust icons, customize keyboard shortcuts, and tweak the desktop layout to fit their workflow. Some users make Xubuntu resemble Windows, while others create minimalist setups inspired by macOS or tiling desktops. The flexibility is there without forcing complexity onto beginners. One of the most underrated aspects of Xubuntu is stability. Many users simply want an operating system that works reliably every day. They do not want constant crashes, forced reboots, or disruptive updates. Xubuntu benefits from Ubuntu's stable release cycle and long-term support versions, often referred to as LTS releases. These versions receive updates and security patches for years, making them ideal for people who want a dependable system they can install and forget about. Security is another major advantage. Linux systems in general are known for strong security practices, and Xubuntu inherits these strengths. Malware targeting Linux desktops is far less common compared to Windows, and the permission structure of Linux helps reduce risks. Updates are centralized through the package manager, meaning users can update the entire system and installed applications from one place instead of downloading installers from random websites. This creates a safer and more controlled environment. For students and office users, Xubuntu offers everything needed for daily productivity. Web browsing, online classes, document editing, spreadsheets, presentations, email, and video conferencing all work smoothly. Lightweight resource usage means users can multitask effectively, even on modest hardware. A computer that felt frustratingly slow under Windows can suddenly handle modern workloads comfortably. Again, developers also appreciate Xubuntu for its efficiency. Linux is already popular among programmers because of its powerful command line tools and development environment. But Xubuntu adds another advantage by staying lightweight and distraction-free. Developers can dedicate more system resources to coding tools, virtual machines, or containers instead of wasting them on the desktop environment itself. Another fascinating aspect of Xubuntu is how it represents a different philosophy of computing. Modern tech culture often encourages endless upgrading. New software demands new hardware, and new hardware requires more powerful components year after year. Xubuntu challenges this cycle. It demonstrates that good software optimization can extend the life of existing devices dramatically. This is not just financially beneficial, it is environmentally important too. Electronic waste is a growing global problem, and operating systems like Xubuntu help reduce unnecessary hardware disposal. Many people are shocked the first time they install Xubuntu on an old machine. A laptop they considered unusable suddenly boots quickly, opens applications instantly, and handles daily tasks with ease. The experience feels transformative because users realize the hardware was never truly obsolete. It was simply being crushed by inefficient software demands. Of course, Xubuntu is not perfect for everyone. Users looking for cutting-edge visual effects or deeply integrated modern desktop ecosystems may find it too simple. Gamers who rely heavily on Windows-exclusive titles might still need Windows for certain games. Although Linux gaming has improved massively thanks to tools like Proton and Steam, some specialized software may also require workarounds or alternatives. But for a huge number of everyday users, Xubuntu provides more than enough functionality. One of the interesting things about the Linux world is how different distributions target different audiences. Some focus on customization, some on security, some on minimalism, and some on advanced users. Xubuntu occupies a very practical middle ground. It is lightweight without feeling burdensome, beginner-friendly without feeling restrictive, and customizable without becoming overwhelming. This balance is one reason it has remained popular for so many years. The XFCE desktop itself deserves a lot of credit for this success. Unlike some desktop environments that constantly reinvent themselves, XFCE evolves slowly and carefully. Stability and usability are prioritized over trends. This conservative approach means users often enjoy consistent workflows for years without dramatic interface changes disrupting their habits. For productivity-focused users, that consistency is valuable. Another strength of Xubuntu is community support. Because it belongs to the Ubuntu family, there are countless tutorials, forums, guides, and videos available online. New users rarely feel alone. If something goes wrong or a question arises, chances are someone else has already encountered the same issue and shared a solution. This enormous knowledge base lowers the barrier to entry for Linux newcomers. The system requirements for Xubuntu are also remarkably modest by modern standards. While exact requirements vary by release, it can often run comfortably on systems that would be nearly unusable with heavier operating systems. This opens doors for users in developing regions, schools with limited budgets, nonprofits, and anyone trying to maximize value from existing hardware. Even the boot experience reflects Ubuntu's lightweight philosophy. Startup times are usually fast, especially on SSD-equipped systems. Once logged in, the desktop feels immediate and responsive. There is very little delay between user input and system response. That responsiveness creates a feeling of control that many users miss on bloated operating systems. Another important point is software freedom. Like most Linux distributions, Xubuntu is free and open source. Users are not locked into expensive licensing fees or restrictive ecosystems. The operating system can be downloaded, installed, modified, and shared freely. This openness has always been one of Linux's defining strengths, and Xubuntu embraces it fully. Multitasking performance is often surprisingly good on Xubuntu because the desktop environment consumes relatively little memory. Users can run browsers, office applications, music players, and messaging apps simultaneously without overwhelming older systems. Even something as simple as opening multiple browser tabs feels smoother compared to heavier operating systems. Running on the same hardware, customization enthusiasts also love how lightweight themes and icon packs can dramatically change the appearance of Xubuntu without hurting performance. Some users create stunning desktops that look modern and polished while still remaining efficient. XFCE's flexibility allows both minimalist setups and visually rich environments depending on personal taste. For people transitioning from Windows, file management in Xubuntu feels intuitive. The Thonner file manager is simple, fast, and easy to navigate. External drives are recognized automatically, networking tools are straightforward, and common tasks rarely require command line knowledge. While Linux veterans often enjoy terminal usage, Xubuntu does not force beginners into it unnecessarily. Updates on Xubuntu are also generally less intrusive compared to Windows. Users are not constantly interrupted by forced restarts or aggressive upgrade prompts. Updates happen on the user's terms. This creates a calmer and more predictable computing experience. Another area where Xubuntu excels is older business hardware. Many offices replace computers simply because newer versions of Windows perform poorly on them. Installing Xubuntu can revive entire fleets of machines for office tasks, saving organizations significant amounts of money. Schools and nonprofits especially benefit from this capability. Media playback performance is also solid. Lightweight systems often struggle with multimedia support, but Xubuntu handles video and audio well. Whether streaming online content, watching local videos, or listening to music, the experience is smooth for everyday users. For privacy-conscious users, Xubuntu can also feel refreshing. Many modern operating systems increasingly integrate data collection, cloud synchronization, and telemetry systems. Linux distributions like Xubuntu generally provide more transparency and control. Users decide what services they want enabled rather than having features imposed on them. Interestingly, many people who initially install Xubuntu just to revive an old laptop end up preferring it even on newer machines. Once they experience a lightweight, distraction-free environment, returning to bloated operating systems can feel frustrating. The speed and simplicity become addictive. There is also a psychological aspect to lightweight computing that many users appreciate. Faster systems feel less stressful. Waiting for applications to load, dealing with lag, and fighting sluggish interfaces can subtly increase frustration during daily work. Xubuntu reduces that friction. The computer feels responsive and cooperative instead of constantly struggling. Over the years, Xubuntu has built a reputation for being one of the safest recommendations for Linux beginners who want performance and simplicity. Some Linux distributions target advanced enthusiasts with highly technical setups, while others focus heavily on aesthetics. Xubuntu stays grounded in usability. It aims to be practical first and flashy second. The Linux ecosystem as a whole has evolved dramatically, and Xubuntu reflects that progress. Years ago, Linux desktops could feel intimidating or unfinished for average users. Today, distributions like Xubuntu are polished, stable, and surprisingly user-friendly. Hardware support has improved enormously. Software availability is better than ever, and many tasks that once required terminal commands now work through graphical interfaces. Another reason Xubuntu continues to thrive is its adaptability. It can serve as a family computer, school workstation, office machine, development platform, media center, or lightweight travel laptop. Its versatility makes it appealing across many different use cases. As technology moves forward, there is growing interest in sustainable computing. More people are questioning whether constant hardware upgrades are really necessary. Xubuntu aligns perfectly with this mindset. Instead of encouraging replacement, it encourages optimization and longevity. It proves that efficient software design still matters in an era obsessed with brute force hardware power. Ultimately, Xubuntu represents something increasingly rare in modern computing: respect for the user's hardware, attention, and time. It does not try to overwhelm users with unnecessary complexity or resource-heavy features. It simply provides a fast, stable, and efficient operating system that works well on both old and new PCs. For some users, Xubuntu becomes their gateway into the wider Linux world. They start by trying it on an old laptop out of curiosity, then gradually discover the freedom, customization, and efficiency Linux offers. Others install it purely for practicality and never feel the need to switch again because it already does everything they need. In a world where software often grows larger, slower, and more demanding every year, Xubuntu stands as proof that lightweight computing is still alive and relevant. It shows that performance does not always require expensive hardware, and simplicity does not mean sacrificing capability. Whether you are reviving an aging laptop, improving battery life on a modern machine, reducing distractions, or simply exploring Linux for the first time, Xubuntu offers an experience that feels fast, focused, and refreshingly efficient. And perhaps that is why Xubuntu continues to attract loyal users year after year. It respects the idea that computers should serve people, not the other way around. Instead of forcing users into endless upgrade cycles, it unlocks the hidden potential already sitting on their desks. For many people, installing Xubuntu is not just about changing operating systems. It is about rediscovering how enjoyable and responsive personal computing can actually be.